There are three things in this world that you just can't avoid: death, taxes, and a homeowners association president finding something to complain about. I learned that the hard way, on a Tuesday so ordinary it should have passed like any other except it didn't. That day, I got hit with all three at once, wrapped in a single, soggy beige package named Meredith Trent. Now, I live in a small community called Sycamore Glen, tucked just outside of Asheville, North Carolina. It's a quiet place, mostly retirees, cul-de-sacs, trimmed lawns, and HOA newsletters printed on pastel cardstock. I own a modest two-bedroom bungalow on the south end of the neighborhood, right up against the property line that backs into Sunrise Pines assisted living home. That's where my grandfather spent his last 2 years. A brilliant, grumpy old man who could fix a dishwasher with paper clips and a prayer. He used to say, "Engineering isn't about rules, it's about results." After a brutal heat wave 3 years back knocked out the nursing home's power and their tiny generator failed, leaving him without AC or his electric recliner, I swore that wouldn't happen again. So I used some of my retirement buyout money tech startup cash I hadn't touched and bought what I call the Beast, a 48-kilowatt, liquid-cooled, diesel-powered standby generator. Not for me, for Sunrise Pines. I had it professionally installed on my property, right at the back edge, with a buried armored cable running to the nursing home's main panel. They pay the fuel and upkeep, I manage the machine. Simple handshake deal between me and their facilities guy, Marcus. For 3 years, it ran like a dream. 6 outages, 6 perfect saves. Lights stayed on, oxygen machines ran, residents stayed cool. But nothing good in suburbia goes unpunished. Enter Meredith. She wasn't always a tyrant. She used to be the woman who hosted wine nights and collected recycling tips. But then she got elected president of the HOA, and something in her snapped like she'd found purpose in enforcing bylaws like they were holy scripture. She came stomping across my lawn that Tuesday like she was Moses descending with commandments. Her khakis were dry cleaned, her visor was spotless, and clutched in her arms was the HOA binder, thicker than a small dog. "Graham," she called, wrinkling her nose at the sight of the Beast. "This contraption is in violation of Section C, subsection 9, paragraph D. External power structures must be approved by the committee." I wiped my hands on a rag, leaned against the generator like it was a family member, and said, "Meredith, it's been here 3 years. Long before your little amendment passed. It's grandfathered in." She pursed her lips so tight I thought she'd swallow her own face. That's a common misconception. Grandfathering requires a formal variance, which you never filed. That's when I realized this wasn't about rules. It was about control. That weekend, a major storm was forecasted. Derecho conditions, high winds, outages expected. Marcus called me Friday. "You ready to rumble, G?" he asked, laughing. I told him the Beast was topped off, tested, and roaring to go. I even laminated a big sign on the disconnect switch. Critical power. Do not touch. Power Sunrise Pines nursing home. Tampering is a felony. Saturday night, the skies cracked open. Power went out at 9:42 p.m. The street went black. 3 seconds later, I heard that glorious roar from the Beast and saw the lights of Sunrise Pines flicker on like a beacon. I poured myself a scotch, kicked back, and felt damn good about the world. Until I saw the figure in the rain. Bright yellow poncho, clipboard, marching through the storm like a duck possessed. "Meredith." I bolted outside, shouting over the wind, "Meredith, don't you dare touch that." But she was already at the switch. The laminated sign was on the ground, stomped in the mud. She was pulling on the handle with both hands, shouting back, "You are in violation of the 10 p.m. noise ordinance. It powers the nursing home. Oxygen machines, Meredith. Read the damn sign. You can't just decide the rules don't apply to you." And then clunk. Silence. The Beast died. And with it, the lights at Sunrise Pines. I stood there frozen, rain dripping from my nose. My heart dropped through my boots. I called Marcus. He picked up, frantic. "Everything's dead. Battery backups have 15 minutes max. We've got 3 oxygen-dependent residents." Meredith just crossed her arms. Smug. Peace and quiet, finally. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I called 911. "Ma'am," Officer Delgado said when they arrived. "Did you shut off this generator?" She lifted her chin. "As HOA president, I enforced our bylaws." I said, It powers the nursing home. She padlocked the switch. Did you? He asked. She smiled. For compliance. He radioed backup. The younger officer jogged to the nursing home. Came back 5 minutes later, drenched and wide-eyed. They're in the dark. Battery alarms are flashing red. One resident went into respiratory distress. Delgado turned to Meredith. That's felony reckless endangerment. You have the key. I do not consent, she said, clutching her binder. This is personal property. They couldn't cut the lock without a warrant. Bureaucracy. It was like watching someone choke while the knife you need is locked in a drawer. That's when I called Gus. My electrician. Retired Marine. Smokes cigars that smell like Victory and motor oil. She what? He barked. I'll be there in 20. And I'm charging you double for HOA stupidity. When Gus rolled up in his battle-scarred van, he looked at the lock, then at Meredith, then at the cops. You can't cut that, Delgado said. Not without consent. Gus nodded, said real loud. Graham, you're my client, right? Absolutely. And this lock is obstructing my work. Damn right it is. He turned, pulled out a bolt cutter the size of a baseball bat, and snap. The lock hit the mud. Gus threw the switch. The beast roared back to life. Sunrise Pines lit up. Applause broke out from the cops, from the neighbors watching from porches. Then came Brenda, director of the nursing home. Normally all cardigans and calm smiles, but not tonight. Tonight she was fury in orthopedic shoes. She pointed at Meredith. Room 212, mister. Howard went into arrest because of you. My nurses saved his life with manual resuscitation. Because you wanted quiet. Delgado didn't wait. Ma'am, you are under arrest. She shrieked, flailing. The binder hit the mud. Henderson cuffed her while she yelled about covenants and bylaws and constitutional rights. Later, I got a call from Silverline Care, the company that owns Sunrise Pines. They covered all my costs. Sent lawyers after Meredith. I didn't even have to testify. She took a plea deal, 2 years probation, fine so high she had to sell her house. Moved to Florida. No HOA. The HOA sent me a framed letter. Variance granted in perpetuity. For heroic service to community. But the best part? That next HOA meeting packed. The board removed Meredith permanently. Neighbors took turns sharing stories how she fined a kid for sidewalk chalk. Told a veteran his flagpole was too tall. I sat in the back, sipping coffee, saying nothing. They called me a legend. I'm not a hero. I just didn't want anyone else's grandfather to sit in the dark, gasping for breath. Now, every month, I check the beast. Top off fluids. Run diagnostics. Sometimes Marcus comes by with donuts. Sometimes Brenda waves from across the fence. But mostly, it's quiet now. And that steady, powerful hum from the back corner of my yurtie's the sweetest sound in the world. So, what would you have done? Was I right to go around the rules for the greater good? Or should bylaws be sacred no matter what? Let me know what you think in the comments. And hey, if you've ever had your own HOA war story, I'm all ears. Like, share, subscribe, and stay noisy, my friends.